As usual, gonna do a collectibles highlight of 2025. It's the end of the year review, basically, of all the favorite comic books, original comic art, and signatures for movies that I got during the year. One of my top highlights of 2025 actually pretty much started off the year. It was meeting Michael Biehn for the second time. The first time I met him at a San Francisco con. It was one of them, but it was San Francisco con that was ironically in Oakland, California. So first time I had Michael Biehn sign my Colonial Marines handbook, and he was the first one to actually sign that. And we are coming full circle again because he is the first one to sign my Aliens Expanded poster. Yes, I did back that documentary. I quite like that documentary a lot. Um, Here we go. Here's where he signed the bad boy. So I even took a picture with him this time. First time at San Francisco Con, for some reason I didn't take a picture with him and regretted it. Very cool dude. We chatted a little bit. We didn't even talk about Aliens, which I'm a pretty big fan of. We actually talked about his YouTube channel and podcast, Just Fooling About with Michael Biehn. And I talked about one of the episodes with Eric Roberts, Runaway Train, and I was asking him when he was going to get Jeanette Goldstein on, the actress who played Vasquez, Aliens, which is one of my favorite characters. And Michael Biehn has actually played two of my most favorite sci-fi characters ever, which is Kyle Reese from Terminator and Corporal Dwayne Hicks from Aliens. We're going to start off with this comic book first, Devil's Reign. It is an indie comic book. I came across it via Instagram when the creator and writer Rudy Orozco basically DM'd me and told me about his comic book and asked me to check it out. And what really got me was that the premise to it sort of reminded me of all the kind of late 90s, early 2000 movies that had to do with the apocalypse or the religious end of the world, revelations, end days, stuff like that. As I said before in another video, it reminded me of movies like The Seventh Sign, with Demi Moore and Michael Biehn. It reminded me of End of Days with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Gabriel Byrne, Stigmata, stuff like that. Even though it is in the survival genre, that particular twist to it, instead of a zombie apocalypse, which I think is just freaking played out to death. I really don't care about the zombie apocalypse whole deal. Sorry, it's not my genre of horror. But that twist for this comic, it piqued my interest, and so I actually gave it a try. Really enjoyed it. I really became a fan of the artwork by David Aberville and Eli Hernandez. I think it's stellar. This cover, this is the issue 2, but this cover is my favorite out of the series. Just straight up banger. Love it. So that was definitely a highlight. I am greatly anticipating issue 5. I was fortunate enough during the year 2025 to get an interview with Rudy Orozco, the creator and writer. I did a video of it. You might be able to check it out here by clicking the card, or go back into my backlog of videos and you'll see my interview with Rudy. Definite highlight. Very cool dude. We have a lot of things in common when it comes to this particular subject. Alright, so last but definitely not least on the comic side is Wolverine Annual 99, which I found a newsie. Now, I didn't have a lot of money to buy comics this year, as I told you. The first reason was the dental issues, and the second reason is that I am actually saving up for a major Marvel Grail. Happens to be the first appearance of my third favorite Marvel character, which is expensive, and unfortunately I'm not being very successful at getting closer to getting it. But anyway, so definitely love some Wolverine vs. Deadpool. It's not my favorite matchup. I still like Wolverine vs. Hulk, but this is becoming entertaining. So I got this comic basically because I wanted to get it signed by Walden Wong, who is the inker on this book. And fortunately, Fan Expo SF finally got him back as a comic guest and comic artist. And I was super stoked because I have not seen that dude for a couple of years, since the last San Jose con. And I have been itching to see this guy again because he's a cool dude. I admire his art, and he's a Bay Area bro to me. Also, that's not it. I wanted to get some original art from him, and this was not the main piece, but it was a piece that I was eyeing. It's actually from the 11th issue of All New Wolverine. So it is a glorious splash page. Page number 20. Yeah, I haven't gotten in the frame yet. I'm debating about whether putting it in a snap-zo or doing one of my DIY DIY frames. So we'll see about that. What I was really gunning for to get was another page from issue number 12, because I actually have the cover to issue number 12 by Bengal, and I have a bunch of other pages by Walden from issue number 12, so I had to get this one. It's actually page 18 from All New Wolverine number 12. I have 17. It's up on my wall, and I am going to put this in one of my DIY frames and put it right next to it. I'll have a full row with the cover and some of the pages to issue number 12. So this is definitely a highlight. I was thinking about it for a long time, probably at least 2 years. So this was gotten at Fan Expo SF. And speaking of Fan Expo SF, I finally got Christopher Lloyd's signature on my Back to the Future DVD box set. I also have Claudia Wells on there, as well as Leah Thompson's signature, gotten from different shows. So Leia Thompson was the first signature on here, and that was at, I think, Silicon Valley's first show. Claudia Wells was at Wizard World's last show in San Francisco, just right before the pandemic, and Christopher Lloyd's was at this year's 2025's Fan Expo SF. So that was very cool to get. I was hoping that they would get Tom Wilson there because they also had Claudia Wells. So I was thinking they were trying to pull maybe a Back to the Future reunion or something, but that didn't happen. I'm still waiting for Tom Wilson. So anybody who's doing the comic shows in the Bay Area, Tom Wilson, thank you. Definite highlight. So at Fan Expo SF, I also got Edward James Olmos signature. I grew up on this guy. I first saw him in Blade Runner, but didn't know who he was. Not until this movie, which really caught my attention. It's one of the classic movies I grew up on. And then movies like Stand and Deliver, Selena, Mi Familia. Yeah, those movies have become my favorites, or some of my favorites. So this was definitely a highlight, getting his signature for this particular movie. And of course, yeah, Hero La Primera Lives. Awesome. And I got a selfie with him, which he insisted on taking himself with my phone. As you can tell from the picture, I am dead tired. I was dead tired that whole day. Alright, gonna backtrack here because I'm not done with the original comic art. I forgot that I also got 3 other pages that were definite highlights. One of them was Punisher page by John McCrea and Victor Alazaba. Got that during the year because I figured, hey, I don't even have an original comic art page of my favorite Marvel character, which is Criminal. So I got that. I also got 2 G.I. Joe pages, both by Gallant and Shearer. So I got those pages for different reasons. One of them is a great action page with Demon Granny and Zartan, and the other one has Zartan, Zarina, and the Baroness, as well as Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow in the page. With all those characters, which most of them are my favorites, I definitely had to get it. Thanks for tuning in. Tell me in the comments below what was one of your favorite collectibles that you acquired during 2025. Let me know. Alright, see you later.